Hi everybody, it's me again. I got the next tutorial for you. This time something easy, promised. Even some starters can do this little job, as I will show you how you can make a little bag for your handy or your smartphone. You can use any kind of material you got leftovers with, do a little patchwork material first or whatever. But I'll tell you exactly what you got to do. I explain it about my smartphone. My smartphone has a size of 8 by 14, and exactly for that I want to make this little bag. Because I don't like this one very much. Besides that, when I put that in my handbag, I never hear it ringing. So that's why I like to have this one. I'm going to make it with a little extra inside pocket, so you can put any kind of little card into it, what you like to carry along, or notice for going shopping, whatever you think about it. And as well, I will put 2 little loops on the back of it, so you can always wear it on your belt. And then you will never miss a phone call, you will never miss a WhatsApp, you will always hear your smartphone or your handy ringing. So what you need, as I said before, you can use one kind of material, or you can add something together, and out of that, what you got added out of leftovers, then you first of all cut yourself a huge rectangle. This rectangle size, according to my size of my smartphone, which is 8 by 14 centimeters as mentioned, you will need to cut it 21 centimeters wide. You can see yourself, you should add in the width at least 2.5 to 3 centimeters on each side to get the proper size for this one. So I cut this one 21 wide and 65 centimeters long. 65 long. That's the first thing you need. The second thing you need is an extra piece, which is cut in the same length or width, 21, and only 9 centimeters wide. 21 by 9. For the little loops to go through your belt, so you can wear it on your belt, I cut 2 pieces the same size, 8 wide, 10 long, and the long sides, the 10 centimeter lengths, I already ironed over 1 centimeter each on every side. Further, you should maybe have 1 button, or 2 or 3, that is up to you. You can put more than 1 button on. I will put 1 on, and I will, as a buttonhole, I will use this little stretchy rubber, which will be the buttonhole for this button. And these 2 extra pieces I'm only gonna stitch in as a little show part, as I will call it. So there's not so much to stitch on this actually. It's more a folding job. Chinese folding techniques, or whatever you want to call it. Therefore, we first of all have to do some markings on here. So, however you got your material stitched together, choose whichever side you want for the front and for the back. In my case, this will be more the back, as it will start like this, the pocket on the bottom, but you will see that then. So take a tape measure on this 65 centimeter long piece now, on this rectangle. And first of all, you put a mark on 20 centimeters from the bottom. You do exactly the same on the other side. 20 centimeters marked on there. From that marking, you do a 10 centimeter mark. Same on the other side, 10. And now, from that one, you do 3 markings on 8 centimeter lengths. Exactly the same again on the other side. 3 8 centimeter cut-ins or little marks with a pencil, however you like to do this. You can check this over if you did the drawing correctly by once measuring what you got left over, and that again should be exactly the same left over on each side. Now, with those marks you did, you start doing the first fold-ups. You start on this 10 centimeter cut that you did there, or marking that you did, not on the 20. You start on this first 10 one and fold it over to the second 8 centimeter part. You hold this up, pick this up, you can turn it over, and now you take this piece and fold this over onto your 8 centimeter marking that you have there. So when we turn this one, you can see already that automatically I created a little inside pocket, and you can check it on the sides. Now you see you got all your 8 centimeter cuts there together, and you got even parts on both sides. So from here on, our next step is to go to the sewing machine and stitch this together. So here you can see I got all my parts exactly light into the cuts, into the marks that we did. And I'm just going to take it under the sewing machine and hold this just by a 5 millimeter stitching. You don't need to go back and forth to hold it firm, because we're going over this again anyway. You check again that all your cuts, all your markings are in the right position, and you just hold this together. There you see, 2 little pockets are practically done already. So now first we're going to prepare the little loops for the belt that I mentioned we will stitch onto the back. So you can always put your belt through it. I iron these parts over. Onto the long sides you put the right side of the materials in the inside, exactly flat, and you start on the edges where you ironed over and stitch on each side 1 centimeter, because that is the allowance of the seam that I added on. And exactly the same on the other loop, because with the belt and the pocket is relatively wide, with 19 centimeter fixed size later on, that one loop wouldn't be good enough. Carrying it on your belt, you would like to have it really firm. That is the reason for 2. Okay, you turn the little corners. I usually do this with my scissors, as they're quite pointed. And now you stitch the long sides definitely over, because you got that long hole there. But you can also, for not starting on every corner, you can once go all the way around it. And that, of course, we have to do with both loops the same as we prepared it before. Turning easily, get the corners out correctly, and stitch once all the way around. Tidy it off right away so you don't have any threads hanging anywhere. You like to work tidy from the beginning, then you don't miss anything for later on. So you got them prepared, and we like to put them now onto the back that we got lying here. I measured this out already. It is the piece where you have the 20 centimeters cut, however you started. And I measured, I believe it was 8 centimeters on my little pattern that I made, that I worked out. And of course I want to see, am I not straight from the ending up? I also have to find the middle and approximately where I like to put them. This is up to you if you trying to put them a little bit more to the edges or farther towards the middle. As long as you put them evenly somewhere in 3/3, or also you can also do one very wide loop and just put it into the middle. Now the most important thing is that you really stitch it on very well. not that you wear it, you got something important in that little purse and they would open up and you would lose it. That would be very upsetting. So, we got them on. There you see, that's where your belt goes through. Now, our next preparation is to take this extra little piece that we have. First of all, on one of the long sides, you make a little mark because I want to add the little loop onto this now. Usually those rubbers, they have one little flat side. If you lay that down, it's easier to stitch it on because the machine also always likes to push it away a little bit, which is not so nice. There you go. That's the first one. Now we do the measurement, or I did the measurement on each side from the middle on 3 centimeters, because that's where I like to put my other 2 loops, which I mentioned before are more for looks, as I'm only going to put 1 button on. But this is up to you. You might have these extra loops on and you realize this button is not really holding it close enough. Then you got them there already and you can just stitch a second and a third button onto it just the same. But you will see also it looks nice to have these loops there. You can even add more as you make your own design on your little piece. So that's the preparation for that. Now we continue again with our main part, and we fold it over to the cuts that were our first 20 centimeter cuts. I'm not going to do a proper seam yet. Make sure you got it all flat and straight lying and the right angles. But I'm just gonna again do a little 5 millimeter stitch along the bottom, so that is held for me for the next job that I got to do. There you see we're getting a little bit closer towards the end. So now take your small piece with the 3 loops on and lie it on the 20 centimeter long part. I'm going to turn this around now because it's easier when those little rubber loops are lying on the bottom. Then the machine doesn't have this struggle of stitching over. 1 centimeter all the way along towards the other end. Now I stitch not all the way in both parts, not like that, but it will come like that. But I will just stitch against one of the sides so the loops are held down. Later on I can still stitch it through all the way if I wish, but now I just stitch over one side so it's flat and easy to work later on with. Again here, be a bit careful going over the loops. They always like to push the machine away a little bit. That's nice and flat. And now we have to close this side. Then it's practically all finished. But now we have to think about it that we need a hole somewhere to turn this pocket around. So I leave this anywhere on that stretch, approximately somewhere in the middle. The bigger you leave the hole, you easier have it for turning inside out. And now, you see, we just held that on the bottom a little bit. On the top, this is stitched over a little bit. This seam is not stitched over as we have that hole there. But you see it lays nicely flat. And now you just close that side totally from top to bottom. Because of the stitching over where we had the loops in, it's lying flat anyway already. And that seam, leave it the way it wants to fall. It's always one material might be a little bit more thick than the other one, and that's why it's better you leave it fall where it wants to go. Now you can start there on the bottom as I do, or if you don't want to have all the seams there, you can also start on the other side, on the opposite side. 1 centimeter all the way to the top. Now you have the possibilities of cutting the corners a little bit before you turn it inside out, but my material is not so thick, so I'm just going to turn it now. Go with one of your fingers inside. Don't put the finger in the little pocket pieces in. Rather go right away in that long corner that you got down there. Get it through the hole. The farthest corner is always the best to get through the holes first. And as I mentioned before, if you leave the hole a little bit bigger for you, it's not quite such a struggle to get it through. But I like to leave little holes and just stitch over them then. That's no problem. But a big hole wouldn't have been a problem either. So push all your corners properly out. You got your holes, so you go with any item you have for pushing them. You go inside. And you see with that material, I didn't need to cut the corners. It makes the purse stronger anyway if I don't cut so much off. But they come out really nicely here. No problem. They're really in a right angle there. Here's my hole, which I still have to close. But first of all, I'm checking everything again. Make it flat. If you wish, you can go and iron everything. There's my one pocket. There's the other pocket. And now I will have to see how I want to close this little hole. You can do this by hand if you wish. That's how it flaps over. That's where the button goes, yeah. But I will just stitch that hole totally over now, through now, which will also hold the whole pocket a little bit together. If you want, you can also now stitch once all the way around the pocket to make the edges very tough and tight, but I'm just going to iron it. And first of all, as I said, I will now close this hole. You must be careful where you put the loops when you work it out for yourself, for your little purse, that you have them low enough not to close this, not to stitch over your loops while closing this hole. As you can see, it wants to lie flat there already anyway, as the hole was quite small. So that's good to do that way as well. That's it. There you see, it's holding it, and I didn't go over my loops. That's exactly as I wanted it for my little purse here. There, you got it all clean. There's no seams inside that needs cleaning off with the overlock, because you've done this special folding technique, and therefore it's all clean. Now I'm going to put this button on, and my little purse is finished. And I can do the next one soon for you. Oops, there you go. Now I hope you enjoyed my little video again, and I even hope more that you come around again to watch me for my next one. Bye bye, until next time.